Hi, the topic is memory management. This is part 1 as we will be having more videos related to this topic. So let's begin. Memory management consists of two terms, memory and management. So let's start with memory. So this memory is actually the array of bytes to store data or information. Means we store data or information in the computer's memory. And this is of two types, primary and secondary. RAM, which is known as main memory, is the primary memory, and hard disk like magnetic tapes, magnetic disks, this is the secondary memory. So this RAM is very small as compared to hard disk and OS. Some portion is given to OS, which is loaded when you boot your system into the RAM, and some portion of this RAM is exclusively left for the processes. We execute these processes which are present in this main memory and we get the results. So CPU retrieves instructions from main memory and execute the same. So and in this hard disk, information is stored on secondary memory in the form of files. So now let us talk about management. This memory manager, which is part of OS, manages the whole memory. And this memory management includes to keep track which parts of memory are free and which are used, to allocate and deallocate this free memory to the processes, swapping of processes from main memory to disk. So this is the role of any memory manager. So now we have discussed the term memory and also we have discussed the term management. So let's start with few more terms which are very important and are related to memory management topic. So before going into detail, let's start with these terms. Address binding, logical address, logical address space, physical address space, memory mapping and swapping. Addresses in memory management. Address and second is the physical address. So this logical address is the virtual address. This address is generated by the CPU. It is address of instruction or data used by the program. So here we are saying it is virtual address. That means it is not the actual address. So the actual address is the physical address. This is any location in main memory which is uniquely identified by the physical address. So any process which is present in the RAM is having the actual address and that address is the physical address. Otherwise, the address which was given by the CPU was the logical address. So now let us talk about the address spaces. One is logical address space. It includes all those addresses which are generated by the program, and physical address space includes all those addresses which a process or processes actually occupy in the main memory. And what about address binding? Address binding means assigning an address to an instruction or data. So this assignment of the address can be done at three times: compile time, load time, and the run time. So if the assignment of address is being done at the compile time, it is known as compile time address binding. Likewise, if it is at the time of loading, then it is known as load time address binding. And if it is done at the runtime, then it is known as runtime address binding, which we can call as dynamic binding. So I hope previous terms are clear to you. Now the term is memory mapping. It is conversion of this is if you remember, this logical address was the address assigned by the CPU and this physical address was the actual address of the RAM. So this conversion of address allocated by CPU to the actual address of RAM is known as memory mapping. Likewise, the term swapping, it is very important term. This swapping is a technique of removing a process from main memory and storing it into the secondary memory, which is the hard disk, temporarily, and then bringing it back into the main memory for continued execution. We are doing this because we know that this main memory is very smaller in size as compared to this secondary memory. So we cannot keep all the processes in the main memory which we need for the execution. So we have to send back temporarily some processes from this main memory to the secondary memory, and this is known as swap out of these processes. And also we need some other processes back into the main memory from the hard disk. This is known as swap in. So to implement this technique, we have a separate area in the hard disk that is known as swap space. This swap space consists of all those processes which have been swapped out from the main memory. So I hope this term is clear to you. So these were the terms which are related to memory management, and please don't hesitate to revise this PPT 2-3 times if required. As you all know, these are very important terms, and we should learn or remember these before going into detail of this memory management. Thank you so much.